Hello everyone, welcome to Sunburned. Albino does a tier list of the Fire Emblem characters as units. This is only gonna rank how useful they are on the battlefield, and we'll probably talk about each character's strengths and weaknesses, what unit or what classes they might be more specifically inclined to, and what their strengths and weaknesses would be. So that's gonna be good. I've played this game for 200 hours and I finally finished every route. So I'm coming at this with a treasure trove of experience that I think is going to be very useful and helpful to some of you. And just sharing my experiences with some of these units. Now it's possible, like with these rankings, that some of it might just be due to luck, depending on how people's level ups have gone, and that's why maybe they were not good or better or something like that. But I've used some of them twice, so I think I've got a pretty good idea of just in general how good people are. So we're gonna start with, dude, I tried to record this and I went 8 minutes into it in my last attempt before I realized that the person who made the tier list forgot to put Lysithea in there, and I was like, are you kidding me? So I found a new one that has all the characters in it. These glorious headshots and a couple, and for some reason Marianne's in a diamond in the background and Linhardt is somewhere else. They weren't there for picture day, so we had to use reserves, I suppose. But that's fine. We got the monastery theme in the background. Gonna be pretty nice background music while we do some calm and, nice nonchalant ranking of units that is sure to not upset anybody. So let's just go from top left to bottom right. We're gonna start with Annette. Annette is a pretty good mage. She has trouble getting speed in my estimation, or from when I've used her. She does pretty good with magic. Her magic stat goes pretty high. It's pretty good. She excels in reason and axe specifically, and you do want to train her in axe so that she can make use of her hero's relic, the Crusher, which is a magic weapon that does magic damage. So it's her strength is never going to go up ever. So you don't have to worry about, using it as a physical thing because it's a magic hero's relic. Plus you can give her a bolt axe and have her just go to town with that. It's funny seeing somebody that small just, swing such a giant weapon around. She also seems like she looks at home on a wyvern, but, you can't use magic on a wyvern, so that's horrible. But, I guess you could still give her, a bolt axe on a wyvern if you felt like being super weird about it. But, here's the deal. Characters, they tout all this accessibility and, oh, you've got the freedom to make all these different choices. But, most characters really only have, one or two things they can really be without making serious compromises. So Annette is, all dead set on being a Grimoire. Really, that's really what she should be. So raise her faith skills as well as her reasoning. That is definitely what you should make her. So, yes. And as far as that goes, she's a pretty good one. She doesn't get any long-range magic, unfortunately, like Dorothea and Hanneman do. But she is pretty strong. She's got great damage output, but she's pretty slow. So that's kind of it. She's not going to be attacking twice in the late game, that's for sure. Unless it's against, an actual, a Fortress Knight or something. So as far as that goes, I give her a B, because Annette, on the battlefield, you use her to, one-shot assassins and swordmasters and stuff like that, because that's what you should use Warlocks for, Grimoires and stuff. But she can't really hold her own, even against other mages. She's one of those mages that also has really low resistance. So she sort of struggles in that regard. And it's dude, how do you not have good resistance? Are you even a real mage? I don't understand. She had at level 40, she had 23 resistance for me. And her defense was at 17. So it's there's hardly any difference. How do you... She focused all on offense and not on defense, I suppose. But, there's other mages that are like that too. So it's not just her problem. Then we have Ashe. Ashe is an archer who can also make, I'm told, a solid wyvern rider, although I've never tried that. He's sort of like Claude in that, he can be a wyvern rider that also uses a bow, as long as you raise his, flying and axe stuff. But, so I've never tried him like that. But if he's just discount Claude in that regard, that is kind of cool because he has the lock touch ability, so like as a flyer who can open chests, that's very useful, like super mobile. Big fan of that. Because he has lock touch, it's extremely pointless to make him an assassin. That is super redundant, but... Or you could make him an assassin, cause it's fun. He's trying to escape his thief past and like his supports and stuff, and then he comes to the monastery like, what should I train in? Like, you're gonna be a thief. It's like, what? I know, I was trying to get away from that life. So, but as far as archery goes, his stats are horrible. I really got horrible level ups when I was using him. His defense never surpassed like 13, so he was just a frail little boy on the battlefield who could get one shot by like anything. It's a real issue. You know, I made him a bow knight because you should make all archers bow knights. And you know, it was good that he had the range so that he could like stay out of the line of fire. But you know, if he ever had to come up against another archer or like another bow knight, he really struggled. And his resistance wasn't that good either. So like he just had some problems. I think he's D, personally. I don't like him as a unit. He really struggles. Maybe he could have some saving grace as a Wyvern Rider. I haven't tried it yet. But it's gonna be a while before I do try it, because I'm not picking up this game again until the story content comes out, because I've done 4 routes. Like, I need a break, man! I can't keep doing this. So you become D. Bernadette is a better archer than Ashe is. And by the way, as far as like archers go, if you're gonna make a bow knight, which is an extremely good unit, one of the top 3 or 4 classes in the game is a bow knight, if you ask me. Do it from the archer side, because you can make a bow knight from like the cavalier and paladin side, as long as you're training bows. I don't recommend that, because the archer, you need the archer class mastery skill hit plus 20. So that your bow knight can actually hit people from far away. Otherwise, you're looking at like 55% chances to hit on units that don't even have that good of evasion stats or avoidance stats. So, you know, if you're gonna make a bow knight, definitely do it from the archer side of things. Bernadette makes a solid bow knight, better bow knight than Ashe. It really pretty much is that simple. She's not that good though, but she is better than Ashe, so I will put her in C tier. So good for her, sort of. You know, C tier is not bad, it's just average. It's nothing really special. There's better bow knights, or there's better just bow users than Bernadette, and there's worse ones, so it's fine. Then we have Caspar. Caspar, the first time I used Caspar, I made him a gauntlet user, like a grappler. But he never was able to become a War Master for me because it was my first playthrough, so I wasn't really capitalizing on all the right skills, like trying to get master classes. So I just focused on his gauntlets, and I like didn't raise his axe at all, so he wasn't able to become a War Master. But even as just a grappler, like he was a lifesaver in the end game. The amount of damage he could do was just super solid, and his speed was really high, so like he could do it. Caspar is an extremely good unit. I would put him... I'd put him in A tier. I would. Because I'm also thinking about, like, what if I had made him a War Master? And then he would have been even better. And that would have been fantastic, man. So, yeah, good for him. You know, because gauntlets are so good, but there's so few people... It's not that there's so few people who can use gauntlets, it's just that there's so few people who gauntlets are their primary focus. Like, you know, like Felix could use gauntlets, but I'm not going to make him a brawler. I'm going to make him an assassin or a sword master or like a mortal savant or any, like, grappler or war master will be like way on the bottom of the list. And like anybody who excels in sword and brawling, it's like, what's even the point of that? Like, if you want to be a War Master, you need axe, dude, what is the word I'm looking for? You need axe superiority. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean. So, proficiency! Thank you, nobody. I heard it myself in my head. But so yeah, so like Catherine and Felix are both kind of like that. It's like, dude, why? Like, pick one. You don't really do both. So then gauntlets kind of get the short end of the stick on that one. So Caspar is one of the few units who actually Along with Aloise, I guess, but Aloise I don't use ever. Because for one, I don't like non-student characters for the most part, except Shamir. I really like Shamir. And also Catherine is a beast, but I don't really use her because she's a beast, so I'm like, that's too easy. I don't want to use her. Anyway. Oh, then we got Claude. Okay, so Claude, house leader, gets his own class with the time skips where he just automatically is on a wyvern, so you don't really have to train. It's pointless to train him in anything else. I mean, you can give him whatever weapon you want as long as you raise his flying skills and stuff, and bow and, you know, whatnot. Because he's gonna be like a wyvern lord, and then he's gonna turn into like the next one up from that, like the Barbarossa, where his wyvern turns hella cool. Like, I don't want to spoil it really, but he looks really cool in that class, so that's nice. So he specializes in flying and axes and bows and authority. Mostly just bows and authority. Like, axes just kind of comes with the territory of trying to train into the wyvern rider area, so, you know, you do what you want there. But so Claude is really just the one thing that he can be, which is that. And is he good at it? Yes, he is pretty good at it. The issue is... I mean, even if you train as an archer, you're not going to get... But, you know, bow range +1 doesn't come with you to other classes. So, you know, even if you went the archer route, like, it's kind of pointless. He's still just going to have 2 range with his bow. And I hate seeing that. I hate characters who have bows that don't get, like, +3 or +4 range. Because it's like, you know, you feel like you're not really making the best use of it. Like, assassins will have that problem, and Claude has that problem. But he gets Fail Not, which is a bow that gives him +3 range, which is nice. When I say +3, I mean 3 range. Like, just 3 + 0 range, shall we say. But so he makes but his stats are very good. So, but even though he doesn't get... But you should still make him an archer so he gets hit +20. He actually really needs hit +20. If you don't give him that, he kind of struggles to hit people. So definitely go hit +20. Like, definitely make him an archer since he's gonna be a flyer anyway. Make him an archer first and give him class mastery so you can get hit +20. But as a unit, Claude is very good, pretty good. He's very good. There's better wyvern riders than Claude, I think. Or at least there's one. So, like, I'm gonna put him... But I guess I would put that wyvern rider in S tier, so, like, yeah, you can still be A tier. Claude, enjoy yourself in that regard. This is gonna be such a long video, probably. Dude, I got 200 hours of experience to just, like, pour out of my mouth here that I've never been able to talk about until now, because I've been holding off until I finished everything. Dimitri. You can do pretty much whatever you want with Dimitri. In terms of, I mean, except magic, obviously. He's not really disposed to that regardless. But you can use, he's good with, I think he's bad with axes. I think he might be bad with axes. I know that he doesn't make a good Great Knight because he's bad with one of those things, and I think it's axes. But, you know, he's just gonna end up being a foot soldier anyway. Like, he's just a foot soldier who walks around and uses his lance. So whatever else you do with him is pretty much of no consequence. Yeah, I mean, like, with stuff like that, like, you could train him in heavy armor for no reason, just to give him more attack speed with the weight -3 ability, if you thought that that was useful. Because, I don't know, like, the Lord classes give horrible abilities when you master them. Like, you get Pomp and Circumstance when you master the, like, first tier Lord abilities, which just gives you +4 luck and +4 charm, and it's like, that's horrible. Nobody wants that. That is not worth a slot. A lot of the, like, class mastery abilities for, like, these higher end classes are just horrible abilities, and you get way better abilities from the lower ones. But that's just kind of the way it works. So Dimitri is probably not as... Well, here's the deal. Like, he can outdo Claude in damage by a lot. But he's not very fast, and he's not very defensively buff either. My Dimitri had, like, 25 defense at level 42 by the end of the game. And it's like, that's not a lot for not having that much speed either. Like, that's pretty much, like, Armored Lord Edelgard stuff, but without the benefit of having high defense. So, Dimitri is probably B tier. I think Claude does edge him out, because Claude also gets that movement, you know, and the ability to travel across obstacles and all that stuff. Dimitri really just kind of runs around with a lance and is like, ha, yeah, you know, that's all he does. And that's all he gets. Then we have Dorothea. Dorothea is one of the better Grimoires, I would say. You could also make her a dancer, but like I don't think the dancing class is really worth it. I've had 3 different dancers on my team, and none of them have really been worthwhile. I had Marianne as a dancer for my Golden Deer. I had Flane as a dancer once, which was, I mean, if you were gonna use her, you might as well make her a dancer, I guess, because she doesn't really cut it as a bishop. But, I haven't tried Dorothea as a dancer. But if you're dead set on having a dancer, Dorothea would make a good one. Anybody who has like sword and reason heightened proficiencies like she does, who excels in learning those things, makes pretty good for that. But I'd rather just make her a Grimoire, where she can get more uses of her good spells, like Meteor, for instance. She's one of the 2 people I've found who can use Meteor. Hanneman is the other one. I don't think any of the other students can learn like a long-range spell. I don't think anybody can learn bolting, except maybe Ignatz. I haven't tried Ignatz though. It's just like, there's like 3 different kinds of mages. There's the kind of mage that starts with the fire spell, that then goes into like thunder and then Bolganon, and that's the kind... No, Dorothea starts with thunder. Dude, I'm getting all mixed up now. But like there's people who learn like a bunch of the fire spells, and then there's people who learn like thunder and then Thoron, and then those people, Dorothea is one of those people. And Hanneman's one of those people. I think if you learn Thoron, you can... No, that's not true. I don't know, does Marianne... Did I get Marianne's? No, yeah, that's right. Marianne gets Fimbulvetter at A rank. It's very tough. Like, these things seem like they go with a pattern, but sometimes they don't. But yeah. Because Marianne starts with, like, Blizzard. And then Blizzard leads into Thoron, which leads into... Cutting Gale, which leads into Fimbulvetter. So, I don't know, it's weird. Like, everybody gets kind of like this random mishmash of spells, and you think there's patterns, but there's kind of not. But so regardless, Dorothea gets Meteor, and if you're a Grimoire, you get that ×2 black magic thing, which you already got if you were a Warlock. So I think that means you can get 4 uses of Meteor per go. Or maybe it's just 2. But if it's 4, that's hella crazy, dude. 4 Meteors, like, the 10 range... Meteor, and like, she's so strong that she can one-shot people with Meteor, and it's great. She's a great long-range mage. She's really good at that. She's not that fast. She's sort of fast. She's faster than Annette, and she is as strong as Annette, but she also gets Meteor. So, like, she is a very good Warlock and Grimoire. So I will put her in A rank. I think she is on par with, like, some of these other people here. Then we've got Dedue. Dedue is the best Fortress Knight in the game, hands down, because he gets that character ability that gives him +3 defense if he just waits, and his defensive stats are already just like higher than everyone else's, and it goes up higher than everyone else's. I've had other people try to be Fortress Knights, and they can't match his defense. They can be faster than him, but they can't match his defense. Like, I even had my main character as a Fortress Knight on my last go-around. And I ignored the Enlightened One class, which is good to do, I think. It just gets boring playing that class over and over again every time. It's like, you just want to do something different. And even my main character as a Fortress Knight could not match Dedue's defense, so... And then you can, like, try and make him a Great Knight if you really go for his riding, but it's a weakness of his, so it's really hard to level up. So he's probably just going to be a Fortress Knight the whole game. But, like, he can do it, man. He can have, like, up to 50 5 protection by the end of the game, and that is incredible. Dude, I used to have Dedue just walk up to the Death Knight and stand there, and the Death Knight would be like, huh, huh, and he would get crits, but they would do 0 damage because he did 0 damage. And it was just fun to watch him, like, break his lance on my body. Dedue is a monster. Dedue is S tier. Dedue is an unstoppable force. Or no, Dedue is an immovable object. He's strong. He's not that strong. He should be stronger than he is, like physical damage-wise, but he does good damage. You just make sure that you supplement his dexterity so it can actually hit people. Then we've got Edelgard. Edelgard. Dude, I wasted my time on Edelgard. And it's set up to where you're gonna. So, like, if you're training Edelgard and you're gonna do the route where you actually get to use her, which is the hidden Black Eagles route, that everybody should know about. Like, it's not a spoiler. Everyone should know that that exists because so that they can do it if they want to do it. Because, like, if you're gonna pick Black Eagles, then you might as well go all the way. You might as well just, like, you know, side with Edelgard and do all that stuff. So, yes. And because of that, it's important to note that she has a hidden talent in Reason, and it's 100% pointless for you to do that. It gives her Black Magic Crit plus 10, which is a good ability, but first of all, it's only a good ability on a character that's learning, like, Thunder-based spells that have higher crit, or, like, Ice-based spells like Blizzard that have really high crit. Otherwise, you know, like... Black Magic Crit plus 10 on people who are using Fire and Bolganone, like, that's not gonna do anything for you. That's only good on, like, people who use Thunder and Blizzard and stuff, and Thoron and stuff like that. So already that's a waste just by itself. But also, like, Edelgard changes her class into the Armored Lord, whether you like it or not. I mean, you can change her out of it if you want to, I suppose, but it's like, I won't do that for the house leaders. I'll get rid of the Enlightened One class for my own character because I'm sick of it after 4 playthroughs, but I feel like everybody should get their chance to shine in their designated class at least once, so, you know. So she turns into an Armored Lord where she gets, like, you know, it's sort of like a heavy armor class without being actually a heavy armor class. Because I'm pretty sure it's not actually designated as an armor class. I don't recall that being a thing. And if it is, then her defense should be higher, because her defense is not high at all. It maxed out at 30 for me. Like, an Armored Lord who's level 42 has 30 defense, and that's all you're gonna give her? Like, that's horrible. But yeah, the Armored Lord can't use magic. That's the whole deal. And that's, like, the biggest problem with units in this game. It's the only, like, big flaw I think there is as far as the class system goes, is that if you're a mage, you can use any melee weapon you want. But if you're a melee class, or just like a weapon class, you can't use magic, no matter how proficient in magic you are. My Edelgard was an Armored Lord. She had an A rank in magic, and she can't use any of her spells because she's an Armored Lord. I think that's stupid. I think it should go both ways. I don't know why, if you want, like, if you're gonna train somebody to be a Dark Knight, and you want to actually use your spells, you have to, like, make them the mage and the monk, the mage, or the warlock class line in order to get there, rather than the cavalier paladin line, because cavalier paladins, they can't use magic, and Pegasus Knights can't use magic, Wyvern Riders can't use magic, archers, sword masters, fortress knights, and none of them can use magic, no matter what. And it's such a blind spot in terms of the flexibility that this game otherwise provides. Because this is one of the most flexible Fire Emblems you can possibly get. Like, the way that, like, you can just make people learn whatever, and their weapon levels aren't relegated to the class anymore, they're relegated to who they are as people. So, like, you can have a Wyvern Rider that uses bows. You can have a Fortress Knight that uses bows if you want to, because it's just based on the character, and that's exactly how it should be. The problem then is that if you want to be magic, you have to be a magic class, and that's stupid. They really should fix that. That's a huge blemish in my mind. So Edelgard is an Armored Lord, and she's not that bulky defensively, but she has pretty good speed for an Armored Lord. She had like a 22 attack speed by the final mission, which for an Armored Lord is pretty damn good. That's keeping up with, like, paladins and people who aren't terribly fast. Snipers, you know. But she's a bee. Like, She's a B. Well, I mean, she's a B too, but her and Dimitri are pretty much on equal footing. Dimitri's probably even slightly better than her. It sort of depends. I don't know. It makes me wonder, like, what I could have done if I didn't waste all that skill XP on the reason skill and gave it to, like, her axe instead and, like, heavy armor and stuff. But she's B tier for me. Then we got Felix. Felix is Blue Lions class. Felix is one of the better units in this game. Pretty much no matter where you put him, he can shine in a lot of different fields. Felix can make a very solid, extremely good sword master. He has a hidden talent in the reason skill that actually is not that bad. It's also black magic crit plus 10, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe it's black magic avoidance plus 20. Or is that Sylvain? One of them has that one and the other one has the other one. But black magic crit plus 10 serves Felix better because he's one of the mages who learns like Thunder and Thoron and stuff. So like that's good for his crit. And him being a mortal savant is not bad. I tried it and it worked out pretty well. He was pretty good at it. It wasn't crazy. It didn't blow the doors off, but like his flexibility was nice in the way that he could take out like super high defense units and then turn around and, you know, use his sword on whoever. It was pretty good. I made him a mortal savant for one, and then I made him an assassin the second time around that I used him. And he was better as a mortal savant. You know? That's just the way it was. But you could just keep him as a sword master if you want to. But I don't know. Like he can rival Catherine if you make him a sword master. If he if he could get Thunderbrand, that would be something. But I mean technically he can, but I don't want to spoil that. It's only in one of the routes. What was we talking about? Felix has great, terrific stats. Dude, his strength is so high for what he, like, for being like a Myrmidon or whatever. Like, he starts out with fantastic strength. And then not only that, but his ability, which allows him to have +5 damage when not using a battalion, is extremely good in the beginning. However, I mean, he has a lower... he has a weakness to authority. But as far as theory crafting goes, by late game, there are battalions you could equip to him that would be better than him not having a battalion. But you just kind of have to invest in the authority stuff, so... And authority is not going to gain experience by itself if he doesn't have a battalion equipped anyway, so... It's kind of like, you'd have to put way too much work in it to get, like, a marginally better payoff. But Felix... So you might as well just not give him a battalion, I guess. Even though he kind of suffers a little bit for it in some areas, depending on what battalion you didn't give him. But he is very good. Like, he can just be a lot of different things. He's sort of always a little frail, but he's always hard to hit. But not that hard to hit, unless you train him in flying, which maybe you should do. Like, you train him in flying, you give him, like, alert stance, then he could really be something. I haven't managed to ever do that, though. But Felix is another S rank from... No, he's A. He's A. Maybe I just haven't found, like, the super winning combination with him, but it's like... He was... I don't know. Like, if you fight him in any of the routes where you don't use him, and you have to fight against him, like, he's always, like, a scary unit on the battlefield if you have to fight him. He's got, like, crazy crit chance and stuff. But I will put him in A tier. For now. Then we have Ferdinand. Dude, there's better Cavaliers than Ferdinand. He's, like, my least favorite one. I'm gonna put him in D tier alongside Ashe. He's just... Ferdinand is... meh. You can make him a Great Knight, which is kind of what he's supposed to be. But I never tried that. The first time I used him, I just made him a Paladin. And then on my second Black Eagles file, I didn't use him at all, because I was recruiting from every other class, too. And I just wanted to make my dream team, which ended up being, like, mostly mages. But, yeah. So Ferdinand is D tier. We'll just leave it at that. Then we have Hilda. Hilda... I think I squandered Hilda. I think it's my fault. I made her, like, a Fortress Knight, and then a Great Knight, which I don't think suits her that well. She does become... She's a pretty fast one. Like, if you make her a Fortress Knight, she will still have decent attack speed. Like 16 or so by the time you get to level 30 or whatever. And then... So, like, she won't be attacked twice by, like, mages for the most part, which is cool for her. But she's not that... I mean, you can compensate her lower defense by just giving her every giant shell you come across, which I do recommend. Or I do recommend, like, pumping those kind of stat boosts into the unit that's supposed to make the best use of those stats. So, like, always, whoever your Fortress Knight is, give them all the giant shells. Whoever your warrior is or whatever, give them all the energy drops, you know? Like, things of that nature. Unless somebody's, like, really fallen behind in strength. Like your sniper, perhaps. Snipers tend to have some trouble keeping up in strength. Same with Pegasus Knights. But, yeah, Hilda... I think she would be better as a War Master, probably. Or, like a warrior turned War Master. But then you have to, like, train her in Unarmed and or in Gauntlets. And I don't know if she even has... like a strength for that. I have not checked. But I think she can be better than how she was when I used her, but she was pretty good as a Great Knight anyway. She did good work. She was as good as my main character was at being a Great Knight. So I will put her... I'm also going to put her in A tier. I think she's got way more potential than I did with her. So I will put her in A tier. Hubert is just like a lesser Lysithea, essentially. Hubert is another Dark Mage, but he's the only Dark Mage that can become a Dark Bishop, because it's a male-only class for whatever reason. So that's lame. Lysithea would have been an insane Dark Bishop, but, you know, she works as a Grimoire. I mean, Grimoires are female-only, so it kind of balances out. And then Pegasus Knights are female-only also. And then Wyvern Riders can be male or female, so that's cool. But yeah, Hubert does good with speed. That's kind of important, because you can compensate a mage's lack of damage output by giving them, like, a really strong battalion and by giving them, like, Fiendish Blow and stuff like that. So, like, even, like, a mage that doesn't have that super high magic can still, like, be doling out these one-shot attacks, as long as you're supplementing them properly with that. But you can't really compensate for a mage's lack of speed. So Hubert is a fast mage. Like, he had, like, 28 speed by the end of my Edelgard route. And that's pretty good for a Dark Bishop, if I do say so myself. So he was attacking twice on a good amount of people. Monsters especially, which is very helpful. And so yeah, he was pretty good. But he's still not as good as, like, this Lysithea, but still pretty good. On the level of Dorothea, or on the level of Annette. Annette was stronger, but Hubert was faster, and I think Hubert being faster is sort of more important. I will actually put him in A tier. I will. Ignatz is B tier. Ignatz, of the archers, Ignatz is better than Bernadette and Ashe, I would say. You know, you make him a Bow Knight, because of course you make him a Bow Knight, or you can make him one of those weird, you can make him like a Hanneman mini-me, and give him, like, Bow and Reason. I still don't understand why anyone would do that combination. Like, it's not like Bow Knights can use magic, so if you're gonna end up making somebody a Bow Knight anyway, then it's like, you might as well just forego the magic entirely. But Ignatz is one of those mages that learns, like, Blizzard and Thoron and stuff. So I don't know if perhaps he would learn Meteor at an A rank. I'm not sure about that. If he does, then you can make a case for him being a mage, but I would rather him be a sniper and then a Bow Knight, because he does well at that. He is pretty good there. Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, I'll try him as, like, a mage next time I use him, probably, just to see how that goes. Then we have Ingrid. Ingrid is a very solid unit. I always appreciate using Ingrid. I've used her twice. The first time I made her a Falcon Knight, and the second time I made her a Falcon Knight. So, you know, Ingrid is definitely one of those characters that's like, you make her a Falcon Knight. That's all you can do. That's all you should do. Is just make her a Falcon Knight. You can make her a Paladin first if you want to get, like, different class mastery stuff done. But that's... Dex +4 is helpful, I guess, for Cavaliers, but... with the riding stat, but... Otherwise, you're pretty much... Like, the first time I used her, I went Pegasus Knight, then Falcon Knight. The second time I used her, I went Cavalier... Or I went Pegasus Knight, then I went Cavalier, then I went Paladin, and then I went Falcon Knight. Because I was still training her in flying on the side. With some of my renown from New Game Plus. Dude, New Game Plus is a godsend in this game. I absolutely love New Game Plus. It gives you so much stuff. It's so nice. But yeah, Ingrid is... Because Ingrid, you want Alert Stance Plus. 30 Avoid when she just waits on the battlefield. Dude, I put her in front of 3 other Falcon Knights in the final mission on my Edelgard route. And they had a 12% chance to hit her. And needless to say, they all missed all the time and I killed them. It was fantastic. Ingrid is S tier. Ingrid is super good. I very much enjoy her. You know, she's not very flexible, because she has the one thing she's good at, and don't deviate from that one thing. But that one thing is real good, so it's like, you know, I'll take it. I will take that. Oh, I gotta redo that. Okay. Now what? Okay, oh, we got Leonie. Oh, I really like Leonie. I really do. I didn't think I would, but she turned out to be... Okay, the first time I used her, I made her like a Cavalier and a Paladin. And then from there, I made her a Bow Knight. Which, again, don't do that, because make her and start from an Archer or don't do Bow Knight at all. But... And, you know, she was a good Bow Knight despite not being able to hit anything. But, like, she was at that point, she was a Bow Knight that could also use, like, a Silver Lance, and, like, you know, she was better up close. And she was really good when she was doing up close stuff. And then the Bow Knight was just kind of a secondary thing. And then the second time, I just made her a Sniper. I didn't even make her a Bow Knight, because I was like, I'm kind of sick of always having, like, 2 Bow Knights on my team every route that I do. Because Bow Knight is such, like, an obvious class to shoot for with a bunch of these classes that you get, or students. It's like, eventually it just gets old, man. Eventually, a lot of this stuff gets old. You know, this game's got, like, the 3 main classes that you shoot for. Gremory, Bow Knight, and... I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, those are really the 2 main ones. And then whatever else is just whatever you feel like. And, you know, it's a problem, because, like... I don't know. The master classes are geared way too heavily into riding, like horseback riding. You know, you've got the Holy Knight, you've got the Dark Knight, you've got the Great Knight, you've got the Bow Knight. That's 4 horseback riding classes. And then they got rid of, like, the Dark Flyers from Fates or Awakening. Like, there's no flying classes that can use magic anymore. There's no... I don't know. There's, like, some of the variety is kind of left. But... it's whatever. You know, I mean, they're going to add new stuff. The DLC is going to be real good for this game, I think. It's really going to get me back into it. But Leonie makes a super solid Paladin, and she makes a super solid Sniper when you're, like, training with the Sniper stuff. And then if I had made her a Bow Knight after I made her a Sniper, she would have been an extremely fantastic thing. So Leonie is A tier. Because Leonie does really good work in whatever you want her to do. Just make sure you train her in Authority, because I feel like her, you know, if she's gonna be Captain Gerald's apprentice, like, her Authority she should have, like, a propensity towards Authority. Oh, by the way, Authority is very important in this game. Don't neglect it. All of your units, even ones who have a weakness to Authority, should have at least C rank Authority. So they can have gambits that are worth anything. And can use battalions that give them stats that give them stats that are worth anything. It's extremely worthwhile. Don't snub Authority. It's very necessary. Linhardt. Just don't care. Linhardt, you're no Dorothea. You're probably on the same level as Annette, but just you're more of like a healer type too. Linhardt can learn Warp and Physic. Again, I don't remember if he gets Fortify. But any healer that doesn't get Fortify shouldn't be a healer. Or at least shouldn't be your main healer. You should have a healer that has Fortify, plus whatever else you want. And also, every mage in your game should be able to at least use the heal stat. Get their faith up to D, and have them learn heal. It's just useful. So, yeah, that's a nice rule of thumb. Then we got Lorenz. Lorenz makes a pretty horrible Cavalier, but he makes a pretty decent Warlock. So, you know, he's definitely predisposed to becoming a Dark Knight. Like, that's the class you should go with him. Or you can make him a Dark Bishop, I suppose. But, yeah. He makes a pretty good Dark Knight. I would say that as a Dark Knight, he's B tier. And it's weird because, like, usually the units that don't start off with just high magic in, like, a mage type of class don't make very good magic users, but Lorenz is an exception. He's a pretty good one. Lysithea's S tier. Dude, we need, like, an SS tier for Lysithea. I'm gonna add it right now. Add row above. New, and this is going to be called... It's just gonna be called Lysithea. And it's the best row ever. Lysithea is the best unit in the game, and it's not close. It's not even close. Lysithea one-shots literally everything. By the end of my last... Dude, she had 52 magic, and I never... She was, like, level 41, and she had 52 magic, and I never once gave her, like, an energy, or a spirit dust. She just gained magic on, like, almost every single level up she got, and she became such a force. Lysithea, otherwise known as the anti-Death Knight, because you just go over to the Death Knight and use Dark Spikes, and it's like a 100% chance to one-shot him and he's dead. Like, yeah. Dude, Death Knight, meet Lysithea. Your actual foil, and you are dead. You are so... Lysithea is the bane of everybody's existence. Lysithea is the most powerful unit I've ever seen in a Fire Emblem game. That you can use, anyway. So, yeah, good for her. You know, make her a Gremory. But even if she's a Mortal Savant, you can make her a Mortal Savant and give her some extra speed if you want to, which I did. I've used her as a Gremory, and I've used her as a Mortal Savant. Because she does have a hidden talent in Sword, so it's like, oh, you can make her a Mortal Savant. And, you know, like, the Sword aspect doesn't really help anything. But it increases her movement, which is nice. One of the main problems with the mage classes is that their movement is horrible. Like, even Warlocks have 4 movement. It's like, what are you, a Fortress Knight? Why is this? Dude, why is Dedue outrunning you on the battlefield? like, for real. So, yeah, Lysithea is Lysithea tier. That's all you need to know. She's the best unit. Hands down. Then we have Marianne. Marianne can't learn Fortify. This is the biggest travesty the world has ever... You call yourself a healer and you can't learn Fortify? She gets Physic. You know, if you make her a Holy Knight... I've had her as a Holy Knight and I've used her as a Dancer. And she was better as a Holy Knight. I don't know. She makes sense as a Dancer. You know, she has that sword accelerate. She excels at a sword, plus she has a Hero's Relic that's a sword. And it's a magic weapon, so that's really good. And then if you make her a Holy Knight, like, you have no reason to upgrade her sword abilities at all, so... I don't know. Marianne is just kind of underwhelming as a healer. And so I tried to train her as a mage instead, but then she just became a Dancer. But she works well as a mage. Like, if you give her, like, Fiendish... If you get her the Fiendish Blow ability, then, like, she can do work just like anybody else. But she's gonna be kind of like Annette in that regard, except not even really as strong. Kind of as strong as it. Marianne has more magic than you expect her to have. But her, like, dex and speed always struggle. So that's kind of tough for her. I hate to do this because I love her, but Marianne is kind of C tier. Like, of the mages that we've ranked so far, she's the worst one. Or of the magic classes, I suppose. So, yeah. And then we have Mercedes, who is what Marianne should be. Mercedes gets Fortify. She also has a penchant for becoming a Holy Knight, if you want her to. Or you can make her a Gremory, which I did my second time around. And she was a very solid Gremory. She got Fortify, she got you know, all the benefits of, like, Fiendish Blow being trained as a mage class. By the way, you train all of your healers as not priests and not bishops, because those class abilities are dog shit. Renewal is pointless. Miracle is pointless. Like, if you don't need Miracle. You have Divine Pulse. Like, you don't need a second chance when you already have, like, 12 chances per battle to not kill your healer. So always train your healers as mages and, like, warlocks instead, so they can be better offensively. And it doesn't affect their white magic at all, except gives them less uses of it, but that's only if you don't make them a Grimoire. If they're a Grimoire, you get all the white magic you want to use. It's the same thing. Grimoires give you ×2 to every type of magic, so... yeah, I recommend that. Let's see... yeah, so, okay, so yeah, so Mercedes struggles with speed a little bit, but she is better than Marianne. I would probably put her in B tier, but she can fortify. So, like, because she sort of functions more as a healer, plus I love her ability Live to Serve, because anytime she takes damage, she heals somebody else, and then she heals all the damage that she gave to them. So, like, that's just a really nice, like, healer compensation type of thing. So she makes a great healer on the side. But, like, again, any healer that is a thing, don't focus just on the healing aspects, because they're not worth focusing on. So I will put her in A tier. Then we have Petra. Petra goes into S tier. Alongside, because Petra's got the Ingrid complex, where, like, you can make her a flyer and give her, like, alert stance plus and all that, and she will also be impossible to hit. Because her speed is relegated to go up so fast. She gets a ton of speed. She's one of the best units in the game. Probably, I would say, well, you know, I'd put her in S tier, so she is definitely top 5. And then, like, you could train her in flying, and then you could make her... pretty much whatever you want, like, as long as you give her alert stance. I've used her as an assassin, and she was pretty good as an assassin, but she's way better as a wyvern rider, as a wyvern lord, in my estimation. And you can still give her a bow if you want to. Dude, she's good with, like, everything. She's good with a sword, she's good with a bow, she's good with an axe. She can do whatever you like, baby. Like, she's good. So good for her. And she's so strong. Like, she can one-shot people with the axe sometimes. You know, like, make her a fighter at first so she gets death blow. And then definitely, yeah, like, she puts in the work, man. She gets it. Raphael, dude, I've never been able to use Raphael properly. And that's mostly because, as a meme, I made him a dancer on my Golden Deer file. And then that sort of sealed his fate, but I was already unhappy with him prior to that happening, because his stats were just not going up. And maybe that's a luck thing. But it's like, this dude had like 12 speed at level 25. As a frickin' grappler, like, those dudes are supposed to have higher speed. And it's like, would he have been better off as a Fortress Knight? Is that what I should have done? But it's like, dude, it's so rare to see someone who specializes in brawling. It's like, I always feel like I have to do that. But yeah. So I sort of made Raphael a dancer and then just let him be a dancer for the rest of the thing. And then just kind of dropped him as a unit. I don't... Maybe he's really good if you do the right thing with him. I haven't found that right thing. I think he's D tier. Also, I just hate him as a person. Like, that doesn't have anything to do with this particular ranking, because it's not about that, but dude, his attitude is just like, oh, I gotta save my little sister. It's like, shut up about your little sister. I'm so tired of hearing that. Why don't you, like, frown once? Why don't you cry for me? Like, please cry and, like, punch a wall or something. Stop being incurably positive. It's so annoying. And then we have Sylvain. I made Sylvain a Dark Knight alongside Lorenz. Like, not at the same time, but... I also made Sylvain a Dark Knight because he has a hidden talent for reason, just like Felix does, and just like Lorenz does. Or no, Lorenz... Does Lorenz have a hidden talent in reason, or is it just that he excels in reason? I don't remember. But the difference being that Sylvain also makes pretty good Dark Knight. And aside from that, because I did train him as a Cavalier and a Paladin, which means that I was just like raising his Reason skill for no reason until I could finally make him a Dark Knight at level 30. So he just had an A rank in Reason, and he's never fired a spell on the battlefield before. He was a really good Paladin. And I think he can also be a good Great Knight. I think he has the proficiencies for that too. I haven't tried it yet though. I will, eventually. But Sylvain has really good stats for like a horseback riding person. So he's really good for that. I would put him in A tier alongside Leonie. Like, him and Leonie are pretty much the same on horseback, if you ask me. And then that's pretty much it, man, because like this, I couldn't find a tier list that also had like Flayn and Catherine and Shamir and Aloise in it. Suffice to say, if I just wanted to talk about them real quick, I think Flayn is like D tier, because Flayn never gets any speed, and the magic isn't good enough, and she's just not very good. I don't like her. She, you know, you already have way better mages than her. It's really pointless that she joins her class when she does. Or joins your class when she does. Shamir makes a fantastic sniper and a fantastic bow knight. She's really good at it. Shamir would go into A tier. Catherine is a great sword master. That's all you do with it. And she has Thunderbrand, which kind of carries her, but I mean, she'd be good without it too. So like, she would also be A tier. Aloise would be like, I've never used Aloise. I've never been interested in using him. I would put him in like D tier. Like, he's a warrior, and it's like, I'm supposed to, like, work with that? No, he's so slow, and, like, he's not that bulky, and it's like, I don't like him. He has no dexterity to speak of. He never hits anybody. Aloise sucks. And then Gilbert is... not very, you know... You'll use Gilbert on your Blue Lions playthrough, and then you'll be like, you know what, Dedue's just a way better version of this, so, like, why am I doing this? So yeah, but, hey, there's no F tiers. So, you know, there aren't any units that are just abjectly horrible. There's some that are just like, but, you know, nobody that's like super F. So, like, we have Lysithea in Lysithea tier. Then S tier, we have Dedue, Ingrid, Petra. A tier, Caspar, Claude, Dorothea, Felix, Hilda, Leonie, Hubert, Mercedes, Sylvain. B tier, Annette, Dimitri, Edelgard, Ignatz, Linhardt, and Lorenz. C tier, Bernadette and Marianne. D tier, Ashe, Ferdinand, and Raphael, and no F tier. So that's gonna do it for this tier list. I got so many more videos I want to make about this game, now that I'm finally done. You know, so like, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you stick around for more things where I'm gonna talk about different stuff. I don't know what it's all gonna be yet, but definitely gonna do a waifu ranking. Like, properly. Like, not a tier list type of one, but like the ones that I always do. Yeah. Okay. Like, share, and subscribe and whatnot. Follow me on Twitter at Sunburned Albino, and I will see you guys next time.